The earliest portrayals of plants and trees were found in Mesopotamia and Egypt about 4,000 years ago, where temples and tombs were adorned with drawings of them, according to the American Society of Botanical Artists. In the 21st century, the practice continues, despite technological advances that could render scientific and botanic art obsolete. At Denver Botanic Gardens, the School of Botanical Art teaches students this art form and discusses why it's still relevant today. We head inside the classroom to learn more.
I always loved to draw, even when I was a little kid in Japan. When I moved to the States when I was 7 years old, my world just was turned upside down. I decided that I was going to drop out of school the third day in second grade because I didn't understand English and I felt lonely and dumb. But my parents took me to school anyway, dropped me off in the classroom. I was really angry at everyone and everything, and I decided that instead of doing spelling or math or whatever that was going on, I would just pull out a piece of paper and just start drawing stuff with my crayons. I guess that's the only thing I felt like I had left. You know, looking back, like that sort of moment kind of made me realize there was something magical in the drawings. You know, you don't have to have the same education level or speak the same language to understand a drawing. So when I got more interest in the sciences, I thought it was like, wouldn't it be really cool if I can combine this complex science that can almost sound like a different language at times, but by converting this complex scientific facts into a visual illustration, then someone looking at the drawing can learn something without reading pages and pages of text. By creating scientific illustrations, I feel like I'm helping someone somewhere communicate an idea or understand something that's scientific. I'm a medical and scientific illustrator, and that is really looking into the human body and creating illustrations that can be used by surgeons and doctors and patients and help with further research. I'm here as an artist in residence at Denver Botanic Gardens. I've been working with the curators here to create scientifically accurate illustrations of botanical specimens. I always had an interest in creating accurate botanical illustrations that can be used by scientists as educational or research piece. The Botanical Illustration program here is one of the oldest programs in the country, and I've always been fascinated by the works by the students that came out of this program.
Any questions?
We have students from all over. High school students also who are they are aiming to apply to an art school, to university. And we have medical doctors, we have nurses, we have engineers, architects, landscape architects, you name it. Scientific illustration, it really doesn't matter which field you are, because you can apply the skills for any field. We teach the students in different media: graphite, pen and ink, colored pencil and watercolor, plus then composition, perspective, botany. We teach the students the science background. We also incorporate art history and culture. Everybody can learn scientific illustration. You train your eye to observe details.
When I say that my job is a medical and scientific illustrator, the first question I get is that, why don't you just take photos? You know, photos see everything.
Today, with the digital techniques and such, the photographs still don't measure the illustration. In one single illustration, you can illustrate all stages of the plant. Try to do it with photograph. You only have one focus plane, so you need to take hundreds of photographs in order to get the same information out as you get from an illustration. We were very lucky because when she arrived, Stinky started blooming, and it was a perfect task for her to document the day-to-day development of the flowers.
I also got to see the blooming of this rare Titan arum, or the corpse flower we call Stinky. I got to go up and close and personal and draw it every day. So it took me about 2 hours to draw one sketch a day. And I would use my pencils and sometimes my watercolors to illustrate how Stinky changes day to day. Right before it opened, the bud was just starting to unfurl. I jumped in around at 9 p.m. to illustrate that flower was opening. I drew it in a sketchbook every day. So what happened was it started turning into a little flip book of daily changes in Stinky. So it was really fun to show the visitors because I was drawing in the conservatory right by Stinky where the visitors will walk by. A lot of people were really excited to see that, even though a plant doesn't look like it's moving, it is changing and developing every day. It opened only for about 48 hours, but I was there both days. I got to go in with the curators and got to cut a little window at the base of the flower and look at how the actual flower parts were arranged and near the base of the plant. And so we collected some pollen to send to another corpse flower that was blooming. The corpse flower only opens once every 2 to 9 years. I was incredibly fortunate to be able to illustrate Stinky, and I felt like it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Not everybody can learn by reading. People learn by looking at a picture.
We're such visual creatures that we like to look at things and understand the world that way.
And you can tell the story. It's like reading a book for the little kids. Every time you can find something new. Even though I have been working with microscope my whole life, I'm developing my eye all the time. It's just observation. We really need to look at the fine details in everything. And that makes life much richer.